Okay, great map to start things off on. Gressfan has been pretty much the star map of this pool, and I think that lends itself to a lot of open areas to fight in, a lot of bases to take as well that are relatively safe, but there's still plenty to get done on the map. So we just see pretty much constant skirmishing. It's been really exciting to see this map develop.
Oh yeah, it really has, and it leads to such amazing games as you were saying. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressfan, we have the Red Protoss player himself representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Harstem.
And in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is the South Korean Zerg in the blue, representing Abydos. This is DRG.
Boy, here we go, and my eyes, we've already caught a glimpse of what DRG has to offer here in this matchup, and it's been pretty versatile, to be fair. We saw some pretty standard play on Gressfan last time, and we saw a Link Bane all in as well in game number 2, but my eyes are still on Harstem. I want to see what he brings to the table here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Harstem, he's a very clever player as well, in that I feel like he pays a lot of attention to the meta. He pays a lot of attention to new builds that people might be playing around with that might not have hit pro-level play yet as well. He's just got a very open mind for these sort of things, and I think players like this often excel in tournament environments just because they can find weaknesses in meta play that haven't really been discovered yet.
Yeah, exactly. These what's the term for them? They're not pioneers. I'll stick with explorers for now, but as you're saying, they test the limitations here of what you can do in the game, what you can get away with, what you can't get away with as well, with these fringe builds. And yeah, it's sometimes we can see something beautiful flourish from that. Sometimes not. Sometimes we can see something absolutely disgusting. But there's beauty in that as well.
I think I usually call them mad scientists.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
Or like spreadsheet gamers.
And they both work in their own way, sure. But oh, the spray.
I hit him with the tag, with the default tag. Let's go.
Let's go, Poppy. Let's go.
Sometimes I think I'm using the cheese tag that I normally use, but I'm on a different account, so I just hit him with the GG, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean it.
The BM, Poppy, the BM. You're an animal. I'll be honest, I've never used the spray hotkey before. I didn't even know what it's bound to. Yeah, never used it.
Yeah, me neither.
You're an animal, Poppy. You're an animal. As we are getting into this, so far Hatchgas pool here from DRG, nothing too crazy. He was able to get his natural base on location, on time as well. So beautifully done here by our Zerg player. Likewise, Harstem not doing anything too crazy.
Yeah, this is a very early third Nexus. Normally you're going to be seeing this Nexus going around 350. Harstem's thrown it down almost just at 3 minutes. So it tricked my eye for a minute. It almost looked like a normal timing just because it was the same timing as the Zerg base. But then I was like, wait a minute, that's not quite right. So yeah, he's gone for his Nexus before his Oracle, before his second gate as well. So he will be cutting quite a lot of corners to get this out. And I think this is a really nice adjustment to the way that DRG has been playing these games, because I did notice against Zane as well, DRG wasn't putting too much Ling pressure on the third.
Yeah, this is illegal. Like, as soon as you pointed it out, I'm like, oh my god. Like, Harstem, as you were saying, he defended this with only a single Adept and one whole position probe as well. The Lings are finally here. DRG finally realizes what's going on. The greed here from Harstem has been insane, and he's gotten away with it. He just straight up has.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, if DRG had randomly decided to make 10, 12 Zerglings and send them across the map, probably would have got a cancel on that base. But it's just, at this level of play, you're expected to be cutting these corners. And we see a Glaive Adept's transition out of this, but the Overlord is in the base and it sees that there's nothing making on the Stargate. That's very suspicious.
It really is. We only have one Oracle in the field. So I was about to praise Harstem. I love the idea of revealing a greedy opener, forcing your opponent to drone up to keep up with it, and then going for something aggressive as a follow-up instead to catch DRG droning. But as you mentioned, the Overlord dips in, and I mean, it does force another Oracle to be made under that Overlord to try to hide this, to be fair.
Yeah, whether that was by design or as a bit of a mind game as well. It will still be useful to have that second Oracle here, but looks like DRG does know something's up, and there we go. He does spot out a lot of adepts here, so expecting to see Roaches getting pumped as soon as that Roach Warren finishes up here.
Yeah, there we go. 4 Roaches are on the way. We have a lot of Lings on the horizon as well, but we have a lot of adepts making their way across the map. We'll see if DRG can make it here in time to defend. Likewise, Harstem is going to be trying to pull apart the attention of his opponent. He still has these 2 Oracles alive. They do dip in towards the third, but there are so many Queens.
Yeah, but there we go. The Adepts are going to be running in. They take out all of the Lings. The Roach is just about to be popping, but not before they can get on top of the drone line here. And these drones going to absolutely melt 2 Glaive Adepts. Only 3 of them going down so far, so pretty good reactions by DRG.
Yeah, he does pull away in time. Meanwhile, we do have not too many workers going down in total. The Oracles try to threaten a dive into the main base, but again, Queens have been left behind to defend said main. And so far, Harstem hasn't found the damage that he's been looking for.
Yeah, but I love this. It wasn't too heavy a commitment. Looks like it was just the 10 there. And behind this, he is going straight into Blink. And he is going to be looking to play a pretty standard macro game coming out from here. It should be seeing that 4th coming down any time now. And I really love the way that he's playing this. I think this is such a fantastic way to play this matchup, to show one thing and do the other, and then keep consistently jumping between these 2 different ideas.
Yeah, and likewise, so is DRG. He's going for a Spire behind this, and I love this because Blink is delayed. You know, the transition into Stalkers has been delayed as well. We're not going to have that much anti-air available, and DRG wants to try to take advantage of that with potentially Mutas. But before that happens, the Adepts, they commit to the Shade and they scout the tech.
Yeah, they're going to be scouting that Spire, and I do wonder as well if DRG went for this expecting maybe a Disruptor transition coming out from Harstem, but Harstem suddenly is getting all of the damage that he was looking for. 8 drones going down, so that is some fantastic damage that he's found there. And there we go, starting up Phoenix straight away, so if those Mutas do get made, he'll have a little head start on the defense for that.
Yeah, bearing in mind that DRG just scouted with his Overseer, he did see the Phoenix being produced, so he's fully aware of what's going on, and he opts not to make any Mutas. He does have the gas for it if he wants to invest a little bit, but for the time being, he's making Lings and Roaches. He's committing more to a ground army.
Yeah, there we go. So we had that very high-level poker game coming out between the 2 players, where it's that whole thing of because you know that I know that you know and I do this. It's always cool to watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm just curious to see how it's all going to come together.
Yeah, I do worry here that Harstem may make too many Phoenixes. I think around 4 to 5 is okay, but he has to make sure he doesn't overinvest because there are no Mutas for the time being anyway, as the Lings are going for a bit of a counterattack. The Oracles continue to try and get some scouting information, but DRG is done droning for the time being. He's still amassing a massive Lingbane Roach army, which he has kept hidden from Harstem.
Yeah, I do think ordinarily in this situation, you're just going to want to make 2 or 3 Phoenix until you've confirmed the Mutas.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you have that head start so you're not getting in too much trouble. But behind this, he goes into Storm, and that's great. This is going to be kind of catching all the possible techs of DRG. It's going to do fantastic against Lingbane. If Mutas do get made as well, it's going to be really great against that. So he's covering a lot of his bases here.
Speaking of covering bases, we have to kind of praise his SimCity as well. He's completely walled off his 3rd base, so no baneling run-bys to be concerned about. Likewise, the SimCity here at his 4th is also looking really good considering his army positioning and the stasis traps as well. So any kind of Ling or baneling counterattack is going to have a hard time finding any damage.
Yeah, I feel like Harstem's probably good at Lego. Put that out there. Good Lego engineer.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. He loves them city builders as well, I'm sure, as DRG has maxed out off of 75 workers with Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. Files will be connecting here. There's a cannon and a pylon set up, but they are looking a little bit exposed.
Yeah, Bar's going to be going down. We can see those Lings, the Stasis Lings, are actually making a bit of a force field there, do we have storms for all of these banelings? Looks like we do, but DRG very nicely just going to be splitting forward smaller numbers of them at a time. I love the way that he's doing this, but oh my goodness, the storms are huge for Harstem.
Yeah, they connect with every single baneling, but the Ling of Roach pushes on forward. It looks like there is not enough Zerg remaining, though. It looks like Harstem is going to be able to force DRG back. I don't know if you saw, DRG desperately wanted to funnel those banelings into the mineral line. He was trying, but like because of the choke point, he was having a really hard time engaging, and I think it was like 3 different times he just kept re-pulling and pulling back his banelings, and he just couldn't get them in.
Yeah, Harstem was really well set up for this, and he uses all that SimCity so wonderfully.
Yeah.
It was a great little battle between the 2 different players. Oh, I think we just killed our own Stalker. The Changeling Stalker, don't worry about it.
It's fine, don't worry. As behind this, DRG is working towards his hive, is rebuilding his army, but trying to drone up at the same time, trying to rebuild and catch back up economically, because again, he was very committed with that push, and alas, he didn't find the damage that he was looking for. Oh.
Yeah, the Baneling's going to be coming in once again, crashing all the way through, but only taking out 5 probes there, so I'm kind of thinking there might be a little window here for Harstem.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's heavily dependent on how many storms he has available, right? It's like if he has a good 3 to 4 storms, then I do think he can push out and deal with this army. Like, there's no Ravagers remaining. There's very little Ling Bane, all things considered. And again, DRG is still trying to drone up amidst all of this, but Harstem is looking to chill out back at home instead. It looks like he may be thinking more about maxing out first.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, the Oracles get a very good look at the army, so he knows exactly what's going on, what's coming his way.
Yeah, exactly. The Oracles have been following that army the entire time. We just see DRG just rotating over towards the south, just poking at that 3rd base whenever he can. And we have a transition into a Greater Spire to get into Corruptors and Broodlords. Likewise, Sky Toss. Let's go.
I love the Oracles just over the entire army that was trying to push through. Like, they're so mocking. They're just like, you thought you were going to be able to get damage done? Look at you. You're so silly. Walk of shame. Go back home. Go back home.
Get out of here. DRG still looking for some damage. A massive storm on all of those things. Oh my god.
That was really sick. I love the way that he just blinked those 2 Stalkers forward and then used that as bait for all those Lings. Yeah. Gets a really nice trade there.
Oh no. My pants are down. They were they were always down, Papi. As we have an Overseer diving into the main base, DRG, he does confirm the 2nd Stargate and the Fleet Beacon as well. I need to commend DRG. This isn't the first time that he's just been so on top of his scouting, so on top of his just Overseer timings as well, just getting an eye on everything that Harstem is up to.
I have to know, can you pick up Changelings? I feel like you can't, right?
With Phoenix?
Yeah.
They should die right as soon as you click on them.
I actually have no idea.
Yeah. That's a Fear Dragon question, if you ask me.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
As we just see Harstem working his way in here. Doesn't have any force fields here, so he has to be very careful, but the Archon's kind of going to act like force fields themselves, and these storms are so threatening. He has so much energy built up on these High Templar. It's going to be so awkward for DRG to try to engage. He does have Broodlords here, so they can try to take pot shots at the High Templars. It's going to be a really interesting battle between the 2 players.
Yeah, and here we go. The Broodlords do push the army away. They have revealed themselves. I'm about to say that I love that DRG did rush into Broodlords first, but at the same time, his army isn't the most mobile, and we have Zealots all over the place. The Prism is going to be going down, but we have Zealots threatening that 5th base towards the south and the main as well.
Yeah, 10 drones going down. The army getting pulled pretty far out of position as well, and it looks like Harstem pretty happy to just take his time with this. I think as long as he's not losing his army all at once, he should be content to just clear up creep, force out some units, keep DRG, you know, worried and pen back into his base while he's just comfortably going into his Stargate transition. And just like that, we see 3 Tempests actually being started up, so they're going to be the answer to the Broodlord here.
Exactly. 3 Tempests being produced at a time. We have a 4th Stargate on the way behind this as well, and DRG's on a bit of a timer, I feel like. He doesn't have the best army at the moment. He still has so much supply tied up in all these roaches, and I think he knows that he wants to try to get rid of it, but not too quickly, because you still have a pretty threatening ground army from Harstem as well.
Yeah, that's what I love so much about what Harstem's doing here. He doesn't want to throw this army away because he wants that threat to be ever present, just to keep DRG kind of stuck on this mishmash of an army. Like this is not really the army that DRG wants to be on, but there's no comfortable way to get rid of these roaches without just exposing your broodlords.
Exactly. Yeah, if all the roaches go down, then there's nothing to protect the broodlords. And right now we have one corruptor. We're maxed out. DRG, he needs to free up supply for corruptors, otherwise he just won't have a way to deal with the sky toss.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do that by trying to get some damage down here to the south side already. A couple of gateways going down, but Harstem is just so difficult to break here. And there we go. The Tempests have arrived. They are going to be picking away at the broodlords now.
Yeah, one broodlord does go down. The corruptors as well. Mama Ship is on the way behind this. Harstem so quick to rebuild his wall, and because he took this center base, we talked about it before, it does open up the corner bases as well. Harstem pretty freely expanding. Failing run by, not finding too much damage here either. And yeah, Harstem, his economy is looking beautiful behind this, and DRG is still trying to keep up, trying to catch up.
Was that did that High Templar at the third get put in F2 jail? Oh, the third.
And now it did, yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love that. I love that. That's intentional, right? It has to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Here we go. We do have that massive roach counterattack. Now, this is going to be a really scary moment because DRG is about to plummet in supply. He's about to lose every single one of these roaches, and there's going to be a window here where Harstem could go for a counterattack after that does happen. Oh.
Yeah, looks like he wants to trade these out for Archons. Trying not to be suspicious. He just really wanted that Archon.
He really did, and now we're going to be remaxing with Corruptors, Infestors, and Vipers as well. Meanwhile, after the death of all those roaches, that's the cue here for Harstem to move out onto the map to clear out whatever creep he can, maybe threaten one of these bases.
Yeah, this is a intense production tab on the side of the Zerg. Yeah. All sorts of stuff going down here. We are getting into those full air upgrades, looking for the Infestors as well. So he is consigned here to a bit more of a drawn-out late game, and I think Harstem's going to be more than happy with that.
Well, Harstem kind of beat him there. Like, when it comes to rushing into the late game, like, Harstem, for the most part, is there at this point. Could do with some more Skytoss units for certain, but here we go. We're pushing on towards that center base. We blink up onto the high ground as well. Drones are falling left and right. At the same time, it looks like DRG was maybe trying to set up a bit of a surround. He does have a roach army here towards the south as well.
Yeah, we do see all of these Tempests. The Tickle Artillery almost taking down an Overlord.
Oh. Almost. As the Stalkers are going to be basically thrown away here, they do get a good amount of worker kills, and an Immortal is going to get caught out as well.
That is a chat Immortal. He just wants to take them all down himself. There was no fear there. Didn't even flinch.
Really did not, as we do have Harstem rotating around towards the southern portion of the map this time. Instead, he has to be careful. Does end up tagging those Vipers. Of course, those Vipers have so much potential with those Abducts, with those Yoinks, able to take down either the Tempest or even that Mothership.
Yeah, so we're just going to be dancing back and forth, trying to get the damage that we can with the Tempest. And as you were saying, got to be really careful. Good feedback there. Doesn't quite get the Storm going down on the Corruptors, and we'll be losing one of those to the Broodlords. This is such a delicate dance between the two players.
It really is. Meanwhile, as that dance is going on, we have some run-bys being set up from both armies. To be fair, we have a Zealot run-by going towards that fourth base. Lings and Banelings are forced to turn around, and all the Roaches do get caught out by the main army.
Yeah, we're going to have Roaches and Banes going down. Both players just trying to trade out their non-late game supply here.
Yeah, exactly. But it does feel like Harstem is just getting the better trades. You know, he's got Zealots in the main base, Zealots here at the fourth base as well. Drones are falling left and right, and DRG can't really do much about it. Like, his army is just not really set up to split up like that. Oh my god.
Oh, massive storms going down on the drones here as well, and suddenly we're down on 37 drones going down. Harstem has kind of just kept this unrelenting pace where he's just hammering away bit by bit at the Zerg, and kind of all at once, the bricks have fallen down.
Yeah, slowly but surely the house has crumbled here, and DRG, he still has an impressive main army, but even then, now that I look at it, it's 10 Corruptors, 16 Corruptors, 10 Broodlords, a good amount of Infestors. Like, he's so heavily reliant on his spellcasters to make a fight happen here.
Yeah, and I mean, the fear here as well is, how do you stop these Tempests from getting damage. I think he just has to go for it, and looks like he is going to get some nice yoings there. But oh my goodness, the feedbacks! Yeah. The Infestor's just completely ravaged in a massive storm as well.
Yeah, every single Infestor just got feedback. There is nothing left to stop this army. The Vipers as well are out of energy. I do feel like Harstem could maybe take a fight, but the Broodlords are bullying away these Archons.
Yeah, there's a very careful dance where the Archon's trying to get on top of the Corruptors, but without taking too much damage from the Broodlords, and DRG is actually controlling this quite wonderfully.
Yeah, he picks up a good amount of those Archons, does keep his Corruptors alive. He does force Harstem all the way back, but this is where we have to look at the economy. This is where we have to look at DRG's bank, which is non-existent. Like, he just cannot rebuild.
Yeah, as we see Zealous is continuing to get damage, and Harstem's going to have one little lull in supply here, but I feel like with the bank that he has, he's almost secured the game for himself at this point.
Yeah, he really has. He's got a little bit of inefficient mining going on, but once he does recognize that, once he's able to resaturate his bases, like, he's been left alone. Like, these Ling Bane Roach counterattacks haven't done any economic damage to Harstem whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Zealot Rumbais of Harstem have just gotten out of control.
I love as well how he comes back home with the Tempest just by blasting down his own gateway. Yeah. It's like, oh, do you want to have a door, Mr. Protoss? And he's like, no, just cement over it. Yeah. Because how are you going to get in? It's like, it's what the jackhammer's for.
Yeah, I'll just bust it down again. You know, it's like these rich people that they don't wash their dishes, they just break them and they just buy new ones.
He just finishes eating on his plate and just smashes it with a hammer. Into dust.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the money for it, you know? He's got the minerals, he's got the gas. Like, Harstem is sitting pretty right now. To be fair, because so much time has gone on, DRG, he has been able to regather his army. All those feedbacks on the Infestors earlier, the Infestors, they survived, and they're able to regather that energy as well, and he can go for another big fight.
Yeah, DRG's got 3-2 on the air weapons as well, so he is starting to get to that perfect Zerg late game army. Has he got... Okay, I suppose his Vipers are just gaining energy now. And having a look at the army of Harstem, just want to see what upgrades he's on. Okay, he does have +3, but he's just starting up the air armor now as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a very interesting army. He has opted not to go for any carriers, so his Skytoss army isn't too threatening. Like, the Tempest, they get a lot of value over time, but they don't have the highest attack rate either in one big engagement. So, again, there is going to be an opening here available for DRG as Harstem continues to make just Tempest here to reinforce.
Yeah, this is really interesting the way that Harstem's doing this, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we've got the High Templar and the Archons on the ground that just prevent units from ever getting on top of the Tempest, but the feedback's really amazing dance between these two units where Harstem has to try to get these feedbacks without losing all those High Templars to the Broodlords. It's such a weird little chess game that they've got going here.
I want to say that Harstem lost one High Templar there for five feedbacks. It was crazy.
Yeah, like, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like we lost so much energy there for DRG in that engagement. Meanwhile, the Prism does go down. The run by towards the right hand side as well trades so well against all those things. The storms were insane, and yeah, Harstem, he just denies another hatchery.
Yeah, that was almost a perfectly balanced trade to the south there. That was so funny to watch. Yeah. Just perfectly balanced. The two armies completely cancel each other out. But I do worry a little bit for Harstem. As you were saying, it's a little unusual to be completely in Tempest here. And I am just wondering how they're going to continue to gain value here.
It feels very European meta. I don't know if you've noticed, but like players like Skillus, Showtime, Harstem as well, they are very reliant on these Tempests in ZVP. They often do skip carriers as opposed to the Koreans, so a very interesting kind of choice here, and we'll see if it does work out. I mean, Tempests, they do trade more efficiently than carriers. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think Showtime even plays Tempests in PvT. It's a very interesting style to watch, and he's beaten players like Mario with it. So there's definitely something there. It's just, it feels like a very delicate composition where you're just kind of chipping away, but you can just lose everything at a moment.
100%.
Speaking of,
yeah, there we go. We have a fungal, but we are able to recall in time, and not a single Tempest goes down. I think an Oracle fell in the process, so thankfully he was able to avoid that.
Yeah, the recall to the neighboring mothership. That was very cute. Almost like a blink there on the Tempest.
Yeah, pretty much. As the Templar go down without a single storm. The Archons as well. Not a good trade here for Harstem as he loses a little bit too much. And yeah, DRG is still in this. He may not have a bank, which means that if he loses a big fight, he's going to have a hard time rebuilding. But he can still maybe snowball take a fight and try to kind of get out of control from there.
Wow, yeah, he doesn't have a bank at all.
Yeah.
So I wonder where this is going for Harstem. I would love to see some kind of play revolving around recall, but looks like he does want to use this mothership to continue having that blink available for the Tempest like he used last time.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the Fungal, sorry, the Infestors trying to sneak up on the army. Another Fungal will connect on a lot of these Tempests.
Yeah, big fungal, and we see a lot of damage on the army of Harstem. He has to be really careful to get back to the batteries here as DRG is starting to pick up the aggression, and he's going to have a nice angle here with the Broodlords.
Yeah, he really is. At the same time, another Archon run by is going to run into some Ultras. Some of the Lings as well is going to be cleaned up. We have those Yoinks coming in, and DRG is pushing in towards the base.
Yes, there's been some really nice sequences coming out from DRG, but now the Tempest getting on top of the Broodlords. We are going to be seeing a couple of those go down now. We are into one-shot territory, so I think that's going to be the perfect number of Tempests here for Harstem. He disagrees. 4 more on the way.
It's such a risky way to play, mate. It really is. Like, I understand the logic, like pure Tempest, like it is a more efficient army as long as you keep it alive, but that's a big if, right? Like, it's like if you control it perfectly, if you have the best like map awareness and map control as well, then like there's no way for you to lose, right? But it's just it's scary.
I want to see a hatchery get one shot. That's what I'm here for.
All right, we're up to what? So we're still on 7 Tempests for the time being, so we haven't gotten too out of control yet. But we'll see if we can get there as DRG, again, is still hanging in there. More of a one and done kind of army here, but can definitely still make it work.
Yeah, indeed. And now we have that full split map situation, and I'm getting a tiny bit worried for Harstem. I feel like he does need to make a little bit more progress in denying the bases. Looks like he's planning to do that to the top here, but unfortunately just picks the wrong side.
Yeah, there's just nothing there as DRG is expanding towards the bottom right-hand corner instead. Like, I agree, like, Harstem has such a massive bank. I wish he was just a little bit more aggressive with this, a little bit more assertive, willing to maybe lose like a couple of units here and there in favor of a base, in favor of a big fight where he can rebuild, he can remax, maybe even switch into ground toss if need be, depending on how the fight goes. Harstem is just taking this very slow and very meticulously instead.
Yeah, he is. And DRG, to give him credit where it's due, he's making such good use of these changelings. Here we are. We're going to have a commitment here on the Tempest. 2 of those going down, so huge damage here. And he will be able to get out of there and heal those Corruptors back up. So it's going to be on Harstem to do something about this, or I guess just wait till the Tempest get replaced.
Yeah, you say 2. That was actually 4 Tempests going down there from the side of DRG. So again, a great pick off from him. And it's going to take a long time to rebuild what Harstem just lost. Meanwhile, DRG's rotating over towards the top left. We do have a Zealot here towards bottom right, but Zealots do get cleaned up, and DRG will deny this Nexus.
I think Harstem's he's happy with where he's at. I don't think we're going to be seeing him move out.
Is he happy? I'm worried for him, Papi. I'm worried for him. As the game goes on,
am too.
Like, yeah, DRG, he's been taking better fights. His bank is gathering up. He's taking his gases here towards the south. He's getting another base. Like, DRG is getting back into this.
He is, and he's getting that bank back up. The bank's looking great now. The 2 players going from a situation where Harstem was looking very ahead to a situation where we have a fairly even split map situation.
Yeah,
I've said situation so many times. My God.
It is a situation. You're not wrong.
It sure is. It's the situation.
It's the situation. So we have, once again, a bit of a dance going on for the time being. DRG is going to be forced back. Harstem is going to be splitting off a lot of his ground army, though, and he's going to take down some of these bases, force DRG to respond. He does have vision of this army, and maybe Harstem can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I love the army that Harstem's worked his way into. This Immortal Archon style army is going to do so well with the Ling Bane Ultra Rumbais.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, not like this.
One more shot, whatever. A Zealot or an Archon or anything else, but the hatchery does survive. Meanwhile, here we go. The Ultras are rushing on forward. Ooh, gonna be an expensive trade here for DRG. He does get the mothership, but he keeps the base alive.
That's killing me. Please. I know Harstem's doing the right thing where it's sunk cost fallacy. You don't want to take a bad trade now to get rid of that just because it's low, but surely. Okay. Thank you, Harstem. My goodness.
It's okay.
Please.
Just
please.
click on the
No, please.
Click on the lace, Papi.
No,
Just
please. Not like this.
Harstem was teasing us, Papi. He was.
He was.
He was on the edge, but thankfully the hatchery does go down. With that, Harstem did just destroy 2 of the mining bases here at DRG, so not a bad trade. But again, overall, DRG now has a bank, now can afford some losses, and does once again take down the fresh mining base of Harstem. Yeah,
and Harstem is looking ever so menacing on the map now as he does start to move around with this mass Archon Immortal. As for DRG, looks like he won't be rebuilding those Ultras into the Immortals. And okay, he's going to look to get a bit of damage done with the Broodlords.
Yeah, the Broodlords are laying siege upon the triangular third base. The army of Harstem heavily out of position, at least the Skytos army is. Looks like Harstem is going to be giving this base up.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. I mean, this base, all it really is just a bit of a shield for the natural and the main here and for the production. It's not really protecting any economy as Harstem's mined out most of this quadrant of the map. And okay, I love this. He's going to be looking to trade out these Immortals. They don't have too much more use anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be going for a bit of a counterattack. They force the army of DRG to turn back around to help deal with this. And yeah, these Immortals do trade quite well, taking down a lot of these Ultras. Meanwhile, the main army, the Oracles do run into the army, unfortunately.
Is there a way to check how many Oracles have died this game?
Oh, yeah. 9 Oracles.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been taking care of them. He's been for the most part. Like, we haven't seen too many of them just dive into the army quite like that. We have 2 more Oracles on the way. DRG, he rotates over towards the top left instead. Thankfully, Harstem is in the vicinity. He's going to be able to respond.
Like, we want you to tag the army. And it's like, you didn't tell me I have to come back. I thought that was implied.
Not like this. So we do have a good amount of feedbacks here on these infestors. Oh my god. I want to say those 2 infestors were feedback like 4 times between them.
Yeah, they're gonna be feeling sore.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it hurts getting feedbacked? Well, it does, but
yeah.
How would it feel? Is it like getting hit by lightning, or is it just like a flash? You don't even realize it's happened.
I thought it was like a brain freeze sort of thing. It's like it attacks the.
Like you just wake up and you're like, "What happened?" Like I feel weaker than before. Or is it violent?
Why am I so sore? Yeah. I mean, it's there's something in media that reminds you of a feedback. It's like God, is it in Harry Potter? It's like when they attack the brain. They attack your not Harry Potter. There's another one.
I haven't watched. In Harry Potter,
is it in
where
Star
they
Wars?
Turn you to the dark side.
Yeah, it's like in Star Wars when they look to the east and family shows up.
Oh. And then Draco gave him a force push.
Yeah.
That bloody Draco.
Off the cliff. This is
Off
Hogwarts.
The high ground. Yeah. This is Hogwarts. I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. As the army is just rotating between each other here, between these fringe bases. Nothing too major yet here. Harstem once again going for another one of these expensive Archon Immortal run buys. And that's the one thing that I'm concerned about, is that these counterattacks here from Harstem, he keeps rebuilding the Immortals and Archons, and they've been eating into his gas bank. The gas bank that he once had is no longer there.
Yeah, I think it's okay, just because it is securing him in this northern base and it's stopping DRG from really getting anything anywhere near this and encroaching on it. In the last few minutes, Harstem has been making a good amount of headway, and he is breaking down that bank of DRG and looking like he's in a good position again as we see the assimilation of the Oracles.
Oh, not like this.
That's brutal.
Yeah, beautiful catch here from DRG to get the Oracles in the end, take them out, and deny any kind of revelations or even scouting of the main army of DRG is once again going to lay siege upon this third base. Harstem is here in position. We do have a 9 Tempest now with the army, a good amount of Templar as well, and yeah, Harstem is going for another one of these backstabs.
Yeah, that triangle base has done a fantastic job of just slowing down the advance of DRG. I can imagine if that wasn't there, these Broodlords probably could have been damaging some of the production in the main even. So it has been a really good setup that Harstem's got himself into here, where every time DRG pushes forward, he's not getting substantial damage.
Yeah, he really isn't, and he's been taking a lot of losses as well. Base after base have been falling for him. He just hasn't been able to get another hatchery up and running, but he does rotate over towards the top left, and yeah, that Skytoss army is quite a bit out of position here. So if DRG commits, he may be able to get this Nexus in the end. Meanwhile, Harstem wants to reciprocate with getting a base of his own.
Yeah, I love it, and I feel like bases at the moment are so much more valuable for DRG than they are for Harstem.
Yeah. They really are. As the mineral line goes down, the Nexus as well, but Harstem, he has 7k minerals in the bank. He can afford to rebuild and replace probes and bases of all things. Meanwhile, we do have DRG. He wants that mothership.
Yeah, he is sharking around. Harstem realizes that he's very exposed here. Will be dropping back. DRG, again, just doing such a good job with the changelings. He has been absolutely non-stop sending out changelings all throughout this game to find the army of Harstem, and he's pretty much known where Harstem is almost the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. He really has, and with that knowledge, is able to once again rotate towards the top left as well. Is going to be looking to not just get the base, but maybe even catch this army as well. So we do have a fungal on the Immortals.
Oh, yeah, really good value movement here by DRG. It feels like he is wedging these two armies apart from each other and forcing Harstem to lose little bits and pieces on each side.
Yeah, exactly. And throughout all of this, he just hasn't really been able to keep up here with the rotations of DRG. He's been losing Oracle after Oracle. We do see him on creep. DRG is fully aware of him. Is looking to maybe dive on the army if he sees an opportunity.
Yeah, and this is starting to get really tense between these two players. I get the feeling if either of them loses their army, they're not going to be able to rebuild it, at least not to the same extent as we have these Tempests running for their lives. The Corruptor Viper army is just so mobile and can pick off any little mistake like this.
Exactly, and mistakes are occurring here. Harstem had such a massive lead for so long in this game, but it has slipped away from him. Shout out to DRG for just having the tenacity, just the stamina to work through this, to fight back from such a dire position and to bring himself back into this. He still hasn't pulled this off yet, as quite a lot of tech here is exposed.
Yeah. Okay. So Harstem is making 7 carriers right now. I was wondering why his why he dipped so low there in his bank, and looks like he realized that we're gonna have to take a fight around now. DRG's pretty much done mining. He, for a moment there, was mining literally 0 minerals. Apart from this northern base that's been mostly mined out from Harstem, he's just not mining anything. So he has to make things happen here, and Harstem realizes that.
And as the base gets saturated, yeah, here we go. The Archons do dive on in. They don't get the drones, but they will shut down this hatchery. DRG, he knows how crucial this base is to him. He is going to be able to rotate in time. He is going to be able to keep this hatchery alive.
Harstem splitting off those zealots like that, just the 2, making me nervous again. I don't want to see another red hell situation.
Not like this. Meanwhile, we're actually investing into lurkers, defensive lurkers for these important bases. I love the idea, especially considering we've had Immortals and Archons going for these run-bys and not necessarily having too much detection with them. So a nice cheeky move here from DRG. He will have them to try to keep that alive. Now we're going to be fighting over these southern bases instead.
Yeah, Harstem is slowly replacing all his Tempest with carriers, and to me that signals that he wants to go for a fight soon.
Yeah. I still am concerned that maybe it's a little bit too late. We still have a lot of Corruptors left over. We still have a lot of spell caches as well. We don't have the worst army from DRG for a big Skytoss fight. Ooh, does threaten with that bundle.
Here we go. It is Yeah, it is threatening to all go down here. It looks like Harstem wants to defend this base. It might come to this as we do see some beautiful feedbacks going down. Massive fungals on the Tempest, though. All the Tempest going to be taken out, but I think Harstem's okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, he still has his carriers alive,
goodness.
but the mothership will go down. So many storms do blanket on top of those corruptors.
Yeah, the storms are huge. The infestors are going down. We're down to only 3. Most of them have used up their energy. These corruptors are just one storm away from all going down. So DRG, he needs to get out of here, but Harstem, he is not going to let him leave without a fight.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's a storm, whether it's an Archon shot as well, these corruptors are so incredibly low. They have to retreat, and as they retreat, the Broodlords get picked off.
Yeah, and we just don't have infestor energy left. There is just nothing here. The army of DRG is just paper thin here. Everything on red health, and looks like Harstem's going to be charging straight on through with these carriers. Void Rays being produced behind this as well.
Yeah, this is the moment that we've been waiting for the entire game. We're like, where are the carriers, Puppy? Where is that pushing potential? We finally have the carriers here out for Harstem. Finally, he can just dive on, assert himself here on the map and just push through the bases of DRG. It's been slow and steady for almost 40 minutes, over 40 minutes now at this point, and DRG, he has to fight. This is all he has left.
Yeah, the way that he's threatening with the Ultras and the Lurkers here, he desperately wants to get on top of these High Templar. If these High Templars can land another storm on the Corruptors, that's huge. GG gets called, and Harstem, my God, did he have to work for it?
Oh,
but he gets it.
GG, well played. He had no money left, by the way, at the end of that game. Yeah. But he does make it through in the end. He does hold on, and congratulations, Harstem. Fights hard for the first game in this series. My God.
Oh yeah, absolutely tooth and nail. 41-minute game there on Grassfan. Absolute banger of a game. Harstem was being so cautious there. Really didn't want to throw away all those Tempests at once. And yeah, when we finally did get that fight, the feedbacks were amazing. The storms were even better.
Oh, they really were. GG, well played. What a game there out of Harstem. I think we were both very anxious watching. And I would like to think that a lot of the people in the chat as well were very anxious as well as to how slowly Harstem was playing that out. You know, he was being very careful with his army, very meticulous, as we were seeing, you know, with his army control, with his movement as well. He was getting all these little advantages. As we saw, he was fighting on a knife's edge, and it almost slipped away. DRG, shout out to him as well, right, for making that as close as it was.
Yeah, absolutely. DRG's control with the Viper, Corruptor, Infestor, Broodlord was really impressive. The way that he was able to kind of dance back and forth with the Corruptors and Broodlords just overlapping each other. It seems like Harstem wanted to do something earlier, but just had to respect how good the control was. Yeah,
exactly. Or maybe he just expected DRG to crumble earlier as well, because let's be real here, Harstem was doing so much with his counterattacks, right? We had, at a certain point, we had like Zealots in the main, Zealots at the southern 5th base, at the 3rd base as well. Like, Harstem was just suffocating DRG and doing such a great job, and like, I don't blame him for like the majority of that game not feeling too pressured either, right? Like, he was his mineral lines were left completely alone for the majority of that game, and then suddenly we got to a point where it's like, oh, DRG, he has a maxed out like Broodlord Infestor army. Oh God, like I have to be careful suddenly. It's yeah,
DRG had the perfect army, and he had the control to make it scary as well. So despite having basically no bank, he was able to work his way slowly back into that game. So definitely a stressful one for the two players, and I wouldn't blame them for taking just a small break after that.
Yeah, not at all. They're going to be taking a bit of a breather after that one. I mean, it was a 41-minute game, and yeah, they're going to be taking this moment here to recover, to get some water, to stretch before their next game. And I guess that also gives us a little bit of time here to go over some of the matches ourselves.
Okay. Let's do it.
Let's go. !B in the chat if you guys want a link to the Liquipedia page of this tournament, where you can see all the live updates currently going on, because there's been a lot going on, actually.
I see a lot of JSON. I think something's slightly broken, but that's okay.
Oh, never mind. Oh, God, but...
looks like... Yeah, we do have... Okay, our bracket's the one that's broken. Hell yeah.
That's good. But yeah, it looks like we already have a player waiting for the winner of this series. It looks like Lambo 2-0'd sort of, and he 2-0'd Mana as well. Lambo is waiting for either Harstem or DRG to come out victorious in this best of 3.
Yeah, there we go. And, you know, maybe being a bit selfish here, but I would love to see Harstem versus Lambo. Just because that last game was so good, and I feel like Harstem and Lambo probably have more history of playing those kind of games, and will play the same game but weirder.
100%, mate. 100%. Aye.
Yeah, we have some other results coming through the lower bracket. Looks like Night Phoenix takes out Sort Of. So Night Phoenix, a player that we've been covering a lot, a great up-and-coming young player.
100%. As the lobby has been made, so we can get ready to dive on into this as well, as I quickly try and wasn't quite quick enough. But yeah, as you were saying, Night Phoenix was able to take down Sort of 2-0, is waiting for the loser of this series, I believe. In the other brackets, I believe Nightmare has 2-0'd Shadown, and has also 2-0'd Aristory as well. He's waiting in the upper bracket finals. Meanwhile, Hero Marine series is still ongoing. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, Hero Marine vs DNS. We've seen DNS doing really fantastically lately, especially in the World Team League. But before we talk about the bracket, let's get into this game. And in the top left-hand corner of Babylon LE, it is the Dutch Protoss, the captain himself for the Shopify Rebellion. This is Harstem.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Abydos. It is DRG. Oh boy, here we go. I love this. There's a comment in the chat. That was I was rough holding my breath for that long.
Yeah.
I understand, Poppy. I understand. That was a very tense game. Very tense game for a long time as well.
Yeah, and always after these games, I wonder if the players want to break that tension or to just do the same thing again and just drag the other player into deep waters and see who breaks first. Sometimes you see that, where you see the two players go, okay, that late game was interesting. I think I could have done better. Let's go straight to late game this time. Or you see one player just going like, screw it, like 6 gate glaives all in. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that's a good question. And the thing is that, you know, Harstem was the player that initiated that. He's the one who rushed into Skytoss kind of first in a way, if you do recall. And that has been a bit of a tendency from Harstem as well. So I wonder if that was more of his comfort zone sort of thing, and I wonder if he's willing to do that again. You know, he's like, come at me, bro. Like, I can do this all day. So my eyes are going to be on DRG a little bit here to see if he does kind of stop that from happening. We already saw that earlier today in our previous series, DRG against Zane, where he did go for a Ling Bane all-in. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's maybe a little bit more aggressive here on Babylon.
It'd feel like a bit of a skill check.
Yeah. I mean,
I think as well. Yeah, the other thing that comes into maybe doing something like that is that Harstem in that last game, if you remember, he went for a 3-minute third, very greedy, very fast third. Looks like I would be surprised to see him do that again on a shorter map, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it was so long ago at this point. It was 40 minutes ago, but
it was, yeah. I was a younger man then, full of hope.
That was before we saw the late games EVP. That was before we experienced it together, Papi. We're never gonna be the same again.
I kind of want to do that just so much.
You're an animal. Oh my god. Oh, as we seem to be having maybe a little bit of latency going on here. Let's make sure everything is okay. And as we get into game number 2, a massive shout out to Baby Links in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate the support. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. If you're joining us, we are here in the open bracket in the group stage of DreamHack Young Shipping of ESL Masters Summer 2023. We're in our second series, and this has already been a banger of a series.
It has. We just had a 41-minute game between these two
Game
players.
paused.
As yep, we're getting that pause for the little bits of lag. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I was gonna say, yet another early Nexus coming down for Harstem here.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it wasn't as early as the previous one, to be fair, as we already have our Oracle out. But nonetheless, it was before the first Oracle even coming out, so it's more early than standard. And as we get into this pause, I don't know if you noticed, but this time DRG is making a wave of Lings. He does want to try and punish this.
Yeah, so he's going to be looking to put pressure on this greedy third that Harstem's been going for. As yeah, we do have a little bit of lag here. I don't think it's my ping is stable.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
it's me.
If they're experiencing spikes themselves, then it's maybe on their end at the venue. So hopefully everything is okay. And
Sure.
of course, we're more than willing to pause and maybe go for a restart or something like that if need be. I mean, what the first Oracle does zoom across the map is looking to try and get into the mineral lines here. But as the Oracle is across the map, the Lings are also headed towards the third base of Harstem.
Yeah, we see no drones at the third, so already a little bit suspicious as, yeah, this is exactly that link flood that we were talking about. Harstem cutting a lot of corners here. The Oracle is going to come out and is going to be able to take out a lot of these Lings, but, there's actually so many Lings here.
Yeah, so many Lings were built, but we do see with the arrival of that Oracle, with the first one turning back around as well, these Lings are having a hard time dealing any more damage.
Oh, this is where it gets a little bit scary. Okay, we do have the probe in position to rewall if need be, but most of the energy of these Oracles have gone down, and there's so many Lings here. I don't think Harstem has what he needs to defend this.
DRG's making more Lings behind this. He's straight up flooding Lings across the map as we speak. The shield battery does not get up and running. The Stalker gets surrounded as well. The Oracles are running out of energy, as you were saying, and these Lings are now getting a little bit of economic damage done, but we are bleeding out.
Yeah, the battery is about to finish at that third. Oracle continuing to get damage here as we do have, the second flood of Lings coming on in, but that battery about to finish and the Oracle about to get more energy. I think Harstem might be okay to defend this. The battery just not in time. That is painful, but it's okay in the end.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers go down, but we hold on to the third base, and we also deal so much inadvertent damage to DRG. He cut workers so heavily to make that happen, and it did not pay off. I'm getting some Spirit vibes out of Harstem, not gonna lie. Like, he's going for these greedy openers, and even when his opponent's trying to punish him for it, it's just not working.
The thing that can be so scary about going against greedy players like this is you know that you have to punish it, but you also know that that's what they want you to do. And where you might have been a couple workers behind because they were greedy with their Nexus, if it doesn't work out, you're suddenly like 6, 7, 8 workers behind instead of just 2 or 3.
Yeah, and we're seeing that right now. Like, DRG, he is far behind economically right now because he made all these Lings instead of drones. Meanwhile, we have a Bailey Nest. He's going for the Ling Bane Bust. He's going all in.
Yeah, looks like he realizes with how little damage that he got the first time round, he's going to have to go for this. But, I mean, look how steadily Harstem's been able to grow his army. He has a really healthy Stalker count now. Blink's going to be finishing up. We once again see that lovely Sim City here. Yeah,
the Great Wall has been erected, and DRG is looking for another way in. Banelings are being morphed in. Harstem, he hasn't spotted the army yet, but he's about to face check with his Stalkers, and he does come across the Banelings. Oh my god.
Yeah, huge pick off there. Going to be taking out Lings, and every single one of these Lings is so significant here for Harstem. All these Stalkers are a little bit trapped, though.
Yeah, they are exposed. We do have a Blink. We need the Oracles to support, and thankfully they're not too far behind. They are able to activate their beams, and these Lings are going to be going down, but not without trading out with these Stalkers.
Yeah, so many Stalkers going to be going down. Harstem going to be losing all of these Stalkers here. Beautiful surrounds coming out from DRG. Have we thinned out the Ling numbers enough to deal with this, though? We do see an extra Oracle being started up. I think that's really important in this situation.
It really is, as the Lings do get on top of the base itself. They're headed towards those Stalkers as we speak. We do force a cancel on the 4th. Behind this, DRG is droning. It looks like he has recognized that he cannot end the game anymore, especially after his Bailings were denied, and he's going to be content here to trade with these Stalkers.
Yeah, he is, but I feel like the window that DRG had to get something done is quickly being closed. It's quickly getting out of the way, and I do worry for him here, where these oracles just continue to accrue value. The stalkers with the blink are going to start to be a bit of a snowball effect as well. If staying this low on tech is going to come out to bite him now.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, basically, you're hinting at a big counterattack soon from Harstem, and DRG is stuck on Pure Ling. Like, he is stuck with a very low-tech army. He does have a couple of roaches on the way, but there are no upgrades. There's not even roach speed done right now, and that moment you were talking about, Harstem is pushing out through the center of the map. He has to be careful. There are still a lot of Lings on the field. There is one Archon that can help with that, but the Lings, oh, they almost get caught out.
Yeah, Roach speed's a long way away, Bane speed's a long way away. We don't have that +2 anytime soon either, as, oh my goodness, DRG getting punished hard for not having a Spore in the main here.
Yeah, no Spore in the main. 7 drones go down. We didn't have a high worker count to begin with, and now it's even lower as Harstem is still banking up his army. We have Storm on the horizon, and when we do hit with Storm, DRG is going to have a hard time holding on as he's still struggling to recover.
Yeah, okay, and... wow, the control and patience of Harstem in this game has been really impressive. He's always kind of towing that line of not doing enough, I feel, but I feel like he's kind of proved us wrong every time.
Yeah.
In that he's just been controlling the games really well, not overextending himself, not having too much risk, and just making his way to the next step and the next step.
Yeah, I appreciate how, like, confident he plays. I think that's maybe the best way to put it,
Yeah.
where he's like, you know, another player may have pressure on them to deal damage because there's like a window where their opponent is vulnerable, but Harstem's like, I don't need to expose the window. You know, I can just mac her up. I can play out my game. I can take this slow, cool, calm, and collected. I'll trade more efficiently over time, and I'll just win anyway. It's a very bold way to play.
Yeah, it's confident passivity, which is a bit weird to say.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get away with it, as we do have DRG amassing a Ling Roach army. The Queens are waddling across the map as well. DRG has droned up to 79. It looks like that is where he is stopping, as he is looking to break the third base of Harstem.
Yeah, the Oracle's just teasing those Queens. They're getting attacked, and they say, the other side. I'm itching on the other side. You know, scratch me.
Scratch me, Poppy, as we're looking to try to break down this wall. Meanwhile, Storm is done. Bear that in mind. We have a lot of High Templar available, waiting for the opportune moment to throw down those Storms.
I realized exactly what I was thinking of. Have you seen Casino Royale?
Yeah. Which part?
Where he's on the chair that has no seat and he's being tortured. And he's like, I've got an itch down there. I've got an itch that just really needs scratching. A little to the left.
You're inedible. I mean, oracles are bulls. To be fair, you're not wrong.
That's true.
As we do have DRG looking for another way, and he's looking to distract Harstem here towards the south. Meanwhile, we have a Baneling run-by being set up here towards the north instead. This wall is looking a little bit more exposed. The Banelings do crash on in. The gateway does go down.
Yeah, the gateways go down. That's going to open up the path to the Lings. But oh my goodness, that was beautiful. The Stalkers fill the gap. They wall off the Lings. The Storm takes out all the Lings. That was just flawless defense here from Harstem.
Yeah,
It seems like everything Harstem does, whether it comes down to these small run-bys that he has with mixed units or his defense back at home, seems so well thought out and rehearsed.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, he just cleans that up so well. At the same time, the wall is not a wall, and finally for the first time DRG is looking to deal some counter damage as Lings, they flood into the natural and into the main base as well, wreaking some havoc. But at the same time, Harstem, he doesn't care, he's pushing out.
Yeah, Harstem charging on in. We have plenty of Banelings being made, but the Stalker's going to get on top of those. They don't want to be wasting themselves on the Stalkers. They'd love to get on the High Templars if they can. Meanwhile, the Zealot's going to be dealing with those Lings back at home. Both players in a really crazy, chaotic situation here, as Harstem seems to be slowly walking himself into a surround. He has to be careful here that he gets good storms and doesn't lose those High Templar cheaply.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we haven't stormed yet. Like, we have so many storms backed up, and there we go. We have the first storm thrown down. I think we have like 4 or 5 more remaining in the chamber. At the same time, the Ling run-by is being cleaned up. Harstem can now focus on his assault. A couple of straight units do get caught out, and DRG, he doesn't want to engage. He's not really looking forward to it. Like, there's just so much with this Protoss army.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation for both players, where DRG would love to bait out a few storms before this fight happens, but Harstem, he's okay to just force some units, force little bits of damage here and there. He doesn't need to end the game right now, and I feel like that's a great place to be at mentally.
Yeah, I think so as well. As We can see Harstem was able to take down a mining base, and now we can rotate over towards the south, and this is where the damage can be done. This base is so heavily oversaturated as well. If Harstem can get on top of top right, then that may just be game, as he's forcing DRG to engage.
Yeah, he is working his way in there, being so protective of these High Templar as well. A couple of storms do get baited out, so DRG is making some headway there, and the Bane count just continues to rise, so we definitely have to be careful here as Harstem.
Yeah, meanwhile, DRG, he just bypasses the army entirely. He's going for a massive link counterattack here towards the south side instead. And DRG is quick to evacuate as well. This hatchery is going to be going down, but DRG did pull away every single drone.
Yeah, Harstem going to be, DRG going to be giving up this base to the north to open up some counterattack potential to the south there. The Baneling's taking a very nice trade there with the Zealots, but Harstem is just going to continue to keep that pressure on.
Yeah, as he pushes on forward, we do now have Lunkers out here for DRG. The Lurkers have arrived, but we have detection available as well. Roach is trying to get on top of this army. The High Templar have survived throughout all of this, and upon seeing these Lurkers, immediately Harstem, he throws down a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. Yeah.
Here we go again.
Here we go again, Papi. I mean, now we could just be playing a game where Harstem is just going to be looking to deny the 5th base, never really push in and commit, just deny the base over and over again and transition into Skytoss instead. If at any moment, though, he catches these Lurkers out of position, I'm sure he's more than willing to dive on top of them, though.
Yeah, this army of DRG is really not that big right now.
Yeah, it's not too threatening. We have a lot of like supply tied up in these roaches. We have a handful of lurkers. 5 lurkers are out. We have 4 more on the way, so 9 in total, which is quite a hefty number. But when we get there, I don't know if DRG can really push out anytime soon, as the link right on the left-hand side is being cleaned up, and Harstem is still looking for a way in.
Oh. Yeah, this is starting to look really good for Harstem. He's done such a good job preserving these High Templars, and he is starting to get a little bit more aggressive with those storms as well.
Really is. I mean, the lurker count, though, is at a pretty good number at this point, where I do think that as long as DRG is able to keep up with these rotations, I don't think Harstem can push in. I don't think he can ever break any of these bases as long as the lurkers are able to keep up.
Yeah, and DRG is doing such a good job of just keeping track of these rotations, and this can be such a frustrating thing to do as well, to be the defensive player constantly having to react like this, but he's doing a really good job of keeping those lurkers spread, and on a map like this with those ramps leading into the base, Harstem can't find an in yet.
Yeah, he just cannot. He's forced to recall as well. The Roach army here has gotten a little bit out of hand, a little bit out of control, and Harstem has to respect that at the same time. DRG is able to hold on to his fresh mining bases as well. The lurkers are looking to keep up. As they're being tied up at home, though, Harstem is starting carrier production.
Okay, we have carriers, we have the mothership on the way as well, so Harstem doing what he did that last game, and he is going to be going rather confidently into the late game. He would love to pick off some of these lurkers here and there, but I actually do think this makes a lot of sense here. He might not even have to drill this out so much.
Yeah.
DRG might not be prepared for the first few carriers that come across the map.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a Spire. He doesn't have any Corruptors. He has very limited anti-air. He has 3 Hydras right now, and 3 Queens at that. So, 4 I do think that 4 carriers would be the ideal number to push out, and Harstem could even just end the game with that.
Yeah, and DRG, he feels that he needs to get something done here, so the lurkers are going to start to get aggressive. I love the way that he is moving here. He is just slowly surrounding this army and edging his way closer and closer to the bases, cutting off Harstem from his own bases with the lurkers here.
Yeah, at the same time, I think 3 lurkers did go down. We do have a lurker hit squad here as well, taking down the fresh mining base of Harstem. The mothership has arrived, and with that, DRG is now fully aware of the sky. Just look at the lurkers!
Oh my god, what a move! Oh, that's amazing! All the lurkers go down. The mothership just catches DRG without detection at a crucial time.
Aye. So many lurkers fall, and that may just be it. We only have 3 left, 2 left, 1 left, 0 lurkers. GG gets called.
Wow.
And Harstem takes the series 2-0.
And what a way to end it. That's gotta hurt. The blink stalkers blocking the lurkers from escaping, and no detection available to save them.
No detection at all. There was no way out for them. That was DRG. He was doing such a great job at keeping up with all those rotations, but the moment he was aggressive was the moment when the mothership and the Skytoss came out, and I don't necessarily think that Harstem orchestrated that, but he was able to make the best out of that situation provided to him, and just, yeah, that was quite a winning move.
Yeah, it's very opportune, but I feel like Harstem found strategic ways to get through that game, because in terms of micro, the two players were like perfectly matched. Every time there was engagements between the two armies, it feels like they just cancelled each other out over and over again. They were just so well matched there.
Yeah, I think so much of this game, especially, we saw it a little bit in game 1, but game 2 is also just heavily reliant on his opener, and I'm so intrigued by it. I think I don't want to understate it, but the fact that Harstem, we've been casting a lot of StarCraft here on this channel on the CranKy Ducklings. We're live multiple times a day, every day. We cast so much StarCraft, but we haven't seen a Protoss player be as greedy as Harstem like that, and just play with the meta and play with the reactions of his opponent as well. And for him to force DRG to overcommit into the Lingbane initially, remember? Like, he was basically forcing himself all in, and for Harstem to just take such a big advantage from that is so unique, something that, again, we don't see any other Protoss player do, at least outside of Europe.
So it's like the CC first of Protoss.
I'm telling you, man, he's playing like hero. He's like Max Packs in PvP, where he just goes for a gate expand without a ramp. He's like, what are you gonna do about it? He just baits you in. It's wild. I love it. I love it.
I think chat's catching up to that stalker block on the lurkers.
Yeah. Oh no, don't like this. I love it. It's not the -1, it's the +400, +400. Let's go.
Yeah, that is true. That's probably the first time I've seen a mothership just win a game like that.
Yeah. Regardless, congratulations to Harstem as he does advance on to a qualifying match here. It's going to be still a best of 3, bear that in mind. I don't believe the qualifying matches are best of 5s, and it's going to be against another Zerg player, Lambo.
I feel like that's what you would do if you played Protoss. You go into the Tempest and you make the mothership.
Why?
And you'd like snipe all their detection.
Why do you think
snipe all the overseers?
I don't even rush lunkers. You're like, yeah, you just rush lunkers every game. That's not even true. That's
get the lunkers. You snipe the overseers. Snipe the observers. You're like, we're just trying to survive.
We're just trying to survive. We're trying to survive.
As soon as this game is over, the more survived we have done.
Exactly. I would like to post a question to the chat as well, actually, because we don't get to cast that much Harstem, unfortunately. We don't get to cast too much European StarCraft outside of the matches that we get in like the KSL or in the OSC King of the Hill, for example. But I'm really curious if Harstem has been doing that opener, going for that fast third base often in online tournaments, or if this is something that he's been like holding close to his chest until this tournament. Because if like for a lot of these players, if there are any builds that they've been working on or any kind of different strategies, like this is the tournament to wait for it and to hold it until.
Yeah, I would say as a player, Harstem has always leaned on the greedy side. I know in PvT specifically, he often will make a few less units than other people do, get those nexuses up a little bit earlier. I think it is something that we see consistently through his play, but yeah, that was especially that first game, it was so early.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. That's why I'm so curious about it. Like I love it when these players come out with kind of new innovative ways to go into a matchup, and clearly DRG is very unfamiliar with it. Like we saw like how much pressure he felt that he was on him to try and punish it, right? And he just wasn't able to pull it off. So yeah, I'm very curious as to the origins of that and how frequently Harstem goes for that. But we are going to be getting ready for our next matchup. It is going to be that PvZ. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have Harstem versus Lambo.
Beautiful. See you all very soon.